All right, what's up, everybody? Pepman Matt Morrow, Charlotte Football Insiders, Football Focus Weekly. It's like the old times, man. Um, Seems like another lifetime ago. I was at Carolina Varsity, and I would do solo shows all the time. We didn't have this platform, so we used to pre-record them and then put them out there, and then we got the Facebook account with the live feature and started doing live shows that way by myself. Um, Tonight, it is all Pep Man all the time. We did a little solo show last year around Thanksgiving. That was pretty cool. So, not new to not having the crew here, but moved the show to the night. Um, Everyone has things that, they have structured in their lives, and it worked out the way it's just me. So this can go really good, or it can be an utmost disaster. But either way, Charlotte, you've been patient. It is your time tonight. You're going to get a full dose of all my thoughts about where we go, what we look like in the conference breakdowns and players to watch and all that good stuff. But we're gonna start the show, and here we go. Get comfortable because it's gonna be about an hour and a half of Charlotte high school football talk, and I know that's what you guys love. So here we go. I'm slamming this week is snow tubing. Snow tubing, number one, is not made for men of my stature. I can't deal with this Man 21 game, man. It's so terrible.
Y'all act like football stops being played when y'all leave Mecklenburg County. We play football here in Cabarrus County too. And then even though it was raining, I was rolling around in the yard doing freaking grass angels out there.
Hallelujah!
Hey,
Oh my God!
hey, all I'm gonna say is make sure your wife, your girlfriends, your mistress, look, I'm back.
See, I got my hat on backwards. And it ain't because I'm a G either. It's because I'm angry. I'm going to tell y'all why I'm angry.
So I'm gonna have to slide. This is gonna be a large group of people. So I might have to walk around with like a slime gun or a slime cannon, or maybe put the slime in like an old school super soaker.
Joe Hughes! Joe Hughes! Cowboy Joe! You know it's a big night if Cowboy Joe's here. My goodness.
Y'all always put me on blast first, man. Who am I slamming? Good question.
All right, here we go. First on deck, private schools and the football only conference analysis. I don't understand how we couldn't come up with a name for the football only conference, but it is what it is. So we're gonna get it up here on the screen in just a second. As soon as I get my thing, there we go. Oh, we got a comment. Well, I'll get this up first and we'll address the comment. All right, who we got here? Ha! One of my crew members on PTO. There you go. Thank you, Queen, for tuning in. I appreciate it. Appreciate it. All right, so as you can see on the screen, the football only conference is basically a group of, 1A and I believe 2A schools that have affiliations with another conference that does not have a lot of football teams. So they came up with this conference just for football, and that's why it's called football only. But my thoughts on this was interesting to put together because, you have a very talented team in Winston-Salem Prep that lost a couple of their best players. I believe their quarterback and one of their athletes that they kind of moved around are both at East Forsyth in the research that I did. So if you don't know much about Winston-Salem Prep, I would say, they're similar to Mountain Island, who's number 2 here. They have a lot of athletes. They have a lot of ability to score, and then they got in a lot of shootouts last year, but they didn't make the playoffs. They lost, I believe, to Robbinsville in a 2-point game that was really high scoring, 42-40. Even though they lost those kids that I mentioned, they're reloading. In doing some research, they have a really talented 6'3" kid that can play receiver and safety. He looks dynamite. He's going to be in contention for one of the best players in this conference. So that's why I've got them at number 1 here. You have to respect what they did last year, and obviously all the talent that's in that area. And then you get into that county up in Forsyth County, it's basically open season. Something that I've said Charlotte just might as well go ahead and do because that's basically what it is. But anyway, that's a whole nother conversation. So I feel like, there's going to be some talent that, comes into that program. And, obviously, for the success that they've had, they're well coached. So that's why I've got them, predicted number 1 here. Mountain Island at number 2. I'm going to talk about them a little bit more in depth when we get to the Jamboree preview, but they went 2-5 last year, and they owned it. It's not a typical season that Coach Washington and those guys have. There's still a lot of talent, on that team, especially in the senior class. You start looking at, the quarterback Dylan Bisson. You look at, obviously, Trey Nicholson, who we featured for, some things he's done on the field. And then you look at, Caleb Patton at receiver. Just those 3 guys right there. It's a lot of talent on the offensive side of the football. They brought in 2 different coordinators. They promoted their D-line coach to defensive coordinator. I think he's really good, Coach Mills. And then they brought in Coach Camfield to be offensive coordinator. Most recently, he was at Ashbrook. So Coach Washington's shaking things up over there. And I think sometimes when you get new blood, and you infuse it with talent, it's a dangerous formula that can, really, kind of unlock some things. So it'd be interesting to see if they can overtake Winston-Salem Prep and be number 1 in this league. But right now, I've got them at number 2 for this upcoming season. Community School of Davidson, man, I love the way that they're coached. I think, their coaching staff does a great job with those guys. They had a strong year last year. I've got them number 3 here. And then Bishop McGinnis, I have 4. Pine Lake Prep, I have at number 5. They had a tremendous season last year, going to the second round of the playoffs. Best year in school history. Coach Trotter, with a lot of talented seniors, did an amazing job. But a lot of those seniors obviously have graduated, and they have to reload. I do like their running back, Colby Lane. He is back. I think he's their best returning player. I think he has, a chance to really, be the star. Where last year I think he shared the spotlight. This year, I think he's going to be the man. He's going to carry the load for that Pine Lake Prep team. Christ the King, I thought they did a great job. They were able to make the playoffs. If anyone knows about Christ the King, you know that it's been a tough go for them in football. And for that school to make the playoffs, I thought was one of the best stories that, no one really talked about last year. But this season, I got them down here at number 6. And then Carver, I mean, man, what a sad story. And, people from Winston tell me about Carver. And, you think about Carver, you think about, Coach Keith Wilkes, who won state titles up there and did a great job. And, that school has gone all the way down to, I think they're 1A now. I mean, that is unbelievable. Such a school with that kind of tradition. up in Winston-Salem area. So I've got them at number 7. So see, we got a couple comments here. SD Walk, what's up, man? Thanks for watching tonight. I need you guys to comment tonight because I'm telling you, it's just solo. So I got an hour and a half to go. If you want to have a conversation through comments, this is the night to do it. Kyle Smith, football only sounds like a natural fit for a permanent segment on. It might be. It might just be that, especially, when the illustrious Billups starts rolling and we have to go back to just football only and slam it on the screen or something like that. That's a good idea. Coach Trotter, conference is now. Oh, there we go. All right. Catawba Shores 1A, 2A. Well, thanks for that update. I appreciate that's a lot better than football only. So I'm just going off what the NCHSAA had. So, that's good to know. Catawba Shores 1A, 2A. That's nice. That sounds like one of those reality shows that you would see on TV. Catawba Shores. Anyway, all right. So that's my projected for this conference right here. There's some good football. If you guys haven't checked out 1A, 2A football, man, it's good stuff, man. And, the only difference is the school size. I mean, you got athletes out there. If you saw, Mountain Island and Pine Lake last year, along with Community School Davidson, it's not much of a difference. Maybe just a few less kids on the sideline, but it's talent. And it's good coaching as well. All right, let's go to the next league here. We got, let's see. All right, living in the Charlotte private schools in the Big South Conference. Man, you talking about some good football. Last year we had a chance to really dig in and cover these schools exclusively because of COVID. CMS obviously played in the spring, but the private schools played in the fall. And we had a great time getting over to, all these schools and covering these guys in depth and, showing them some attention and love that they really deserve. I know Charlotte Christian, they are champions through and through. They've won several in a row. But I'm going to step out on a limb, and I'm predicting Providence Day to win the conference. Now, keep in mind, these are conference predictions. These are not saying who's going to win a state title and, all that stuff. All that stuff, is settled on the field. But I'm talking about winning the conference because we've seen Chambers 2 years in a row not win the conference, but then they win the state title. So keep that in mind when we're talking about this stuff. So for Providence Day, I've got them number 1 mainly because they've got a good bit coming back. I think, Charlotte Christian loses a good bit. That doesn't mean that they're not talented because they're number 2 for a reason. Still got good talent and they got coaching. But Providence Day, man, when you look at these guys, number 1, you got to respect Chad Greer. I mean, the man can flat out coach. I mean, winning, multiple championships throughout his career, having another year under him, and he's really getting acclimated now, back into Charlotte from where he left South Carolina. You look at them, the biggest thing I love about Providence Day is their wide receiver core. I mean, my goodness. We interviewed Mekhi Blue Coleman earlier in the summer. He's a talented kid, of course. And then you look at Jordan Shipp. If you're a Charlotte native, this is Steve Shipp's son. He went viral for an incredible catch he made in 7-on-7. His talent is immense. And then Channing Goodwin, a freshman All-American. And he started last year as a freshman. Just those 3, and they got other guys over there that can make plays too. And then the man pulling the trigger, Grant Logan, has a cannon for an arm. He's set a little bit behind Jake Helfrich last year, who's now at South Carolina. So, my goodness. And Coach Greer, in offense, he loves to throw the football. That might be bombs over Baghdad over there, man. Good gracious. They're going to be a lot of fun to watch. But then Charlotte Christian, you never coach East-stepping those guys out. Well coached. One of the best well-coached teams in the Charlotte metro area. And then they're not without talent. You look at Grant Tucker, a 4-star athlete. we got him on film last year. He had a big interception in one of the games, had a nice highlight, in that. And then, you talk about a guy that can just flat out go get it on the offensive side of the football when you put him out in space. They're projecting, young East Step, Cam, to be the quarterback now. And he's been waiting in the wings for a couple years. I love that kid. I remember when he was a freshman, he reached out to me and wanted me to look at his film and, just give my thoughts. And I gave them to him. And, we had a nice, conversation about, the stuff he was working on and wanting to get better. And, a kid like that, to have that kind of, perception as a freshman, as a coach's son, you would almost expect it, but you don't always get that. And, I really respect that for that kid. He's going to be good. He's going to be good because he wants to be good. He has the drive to do so. But that's going to be a heck of a race between those two, in my opinion, for the Big South Championship. And you look at last year, regular season, Providence Day beat Christian. But you look back, Christian won the championship at Providence Day. Well, I'm sorry, not at Providence Day. That was the week before. But they knocked them off on the way to winning the championship over Rabun Gap, the next week. So that's why I'm saying Providence Day might win the conference, but you never know what's going to happen in the playoffs. But then you look at these other schools, man, this is a tough league. I mean, you look at 3 and 4 here, they're not pushovers. Christ School, my goodness. They won the Division II championship last year. And then, of course, they got A.J. Simpkins back at quarterback. We know him a little bit from, when he was at Hopewell. And he's gone up there and he's done a great job quarterbacking those guys. And they got a ton of talent. And they're not going to be a pushover either. They pulled some good talent up there. And then Rabun Gap, my goodness. I mean, they were in the championship game last year for a reason. They're talented too. It's a unique situation. We interviewed the quarterback, Aiden Semo, last year. And he's back. He's a 6'4", 200-plus pound kid. He's talented. But they've got a tight end, Marlon Klein. He's from Germany, committed to Michigan. I mean, these guys, it's a unique situation down there. And they're in Georgia. And, I remember last year when we interviewed Aiden, I know some people were asking, how is a school in Georgia playing in the NCISAA? Hey, it's a private school league, man. And, if you meet the criteria and, you're able to join, then you're able to join. Legion Collegiate down in Rock Hill is going to join the NCISAA also. I think that's next season, if I remember correctly. But that's just another example of, who is involved in this league. So, but I'm telling you, man, real talent in this league. I mean, those top 4 schools right there, I think could hang with most, CMS schools in Charlotte, for sure. If not, beat most CMS schools in Charlotte. And I'm being dead serious on that. I mean, these guys really play ball, man. You look at Latin at number 5. I got a close-up look at them in the CFI shootout. They won the CFI shootout 7-on-7 tournament this summer. We hosted at Mountain Island. And quarterback Justin Wheeler, my goodness, man. He's 5'11", yes, but, I mean, he's like a mini Drew Brees, man. I mean, just pinpoint accurate, great fundamentals, very smart with the football. He's much improved, and I'm going to be excited to see him, throw into those guys that he has over there. I talked with Coach Harden over the summer. He feels like they're going to be, really improved. It was a tough year last year for him. But I expect, Latin to really, make some headway here. And if one of those top 4 schools is having an off night, Latin's going to be that kind of team that is going to be pesky. They're going to be tough. They're going to be hard-nosed, and, you never know. They get into playoffs and, get a good matchup, and, anything's possible. And then Country Day, I mean, I'm going to tell you something, man. I saw one of the most impressive kids last season at Country Day, besides the quarterback Russell Tabor, who's now at North Carolina. Tells you about his talent. I mean, severely under recruited. Man, I mean, what a kid. But anyway, um, this kid, defensive lineman for Country Day, Spencer Mermans. My gosh, I remember they were playing Christian last year, and they were up, 14-0. And the reason why they had got up 14-0 was this kid came off the edge, caused a fumble, and gave Country Day the ball on the 1 yard line. I mean, he blasted off the line. He's 6'6", 200, I believe 240 plus. I mean, this guy is a specimen, and he's going to play, D-line and O-line. I think he's only going to be a junior. So, he's got some big-time potential in his future as well. But, I got Country Day down there because they lost, a lot of talent. Not besides Tabor, there's some other, seniors that graduated. Now, they've had a good run, the past couple years. Of course, the COVID year kind of, threw everybody off, them included. But before that, they've been averaging, 9, 10 wins a season. If you remember, Coach Whitman had them as the number 1 seed, I believe, in 2019 in the playoffs. And they had a tough loss in the first round at home. But, Coach Whitman can coach, man. He's been in the Queen City Senior Bowl the last 2 years. First year as a defensive coordinator. Second year, he was head coach in a great game last year. He's one of my favorite guys, out here in Charlotte. So, I'm telling you, man, Big South, man, that's some real football right there, man. I mean, if you haven't, seen it, you go out there and check it out. That Providence State Christian game this year, whoo, man, that's going to be a hot one. That's going to be a hot one. Hopefully with that, I'll be able to check it out because I'm excited about seeing it. But that's what we predict right now for the Big South right there. All right, let's go to our next one. All right, still in the private school sector, Piedmont Athletic Conference, number 1, I got the Cabarrus Warriors. We just had Coach Bolton on the show last week. First-class guy, man, first-class guy. I love their quarterback, Tyler Green, and I think I've told the story a couple times. I've followed him since he's 8th grade year. I actually saw him and Jaden Davis play each other in middle school. I mean, what a talented kid. I see you guys' comments. I'm going to get to them right after this. I got Metrolina Christian number 2. Coach Langley down there has done a heck of a job, man, the past few years. I feel like they kind of get forgotten about in Union County a little bit because they're in the NCISAA, but he's done a really good job with that program very quietly. I've got them projected number 2 here. They had a kid at our camp that we just had. He's a running back, Jeremy Williams. I mean, he's smooth, man. He's a young kid. I think he's 2025. Class of 2025, you don't know what I'm talking about. I expect him to get some early run, man. He looks like he's going to be a player for sure. Then High Point Christian, talented team up in that area is number 3. And in South Lake, I got 4, only because they didn't play last year. Some schools, opted not to play because of COVID, and South Lake was one of them. So it's going to be tough coming from a year off of not playing football into playing football for sure. All right, let's get some comments here. Kyle, Big South going to be fun to watch. Yes, really competitive. I agree. That's going to be a fun league. Damian Christian has a Ferguson kid. Yep. Armonte Ferguson. He is a big-time track guy. He can also, play some football for sure. I don't know I think he's going to be playing DB, but I'm not sure if y'all are watching, y'all let me know because I know they watch the show from time to time. Coach Trotter, Providence Days Loaded. They have a lot of big-time talent up front on their OL. Yep. Most notably, Cam Nichols. Used to be at Myers Park, 6'3", 295. Talented young man, for sure. And you're right. Offensive line, that's the engine. Definitely sets it apart. Mr. Losh agrees with you right there. Absolutely. They got the bigs. Joe, I don't know, state champion 100. I'm not sure. I have to check on that. I know he's very fast. I think he is a state champ though. I believe I remember seeing that. So, Armonte's a heck of a young man. Comes from a good family too. Those are really, really good parents that he has, and Dean and Aretha. So, all right, good stuff. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, Western Athletic wrapping up the NCISAA. Number 1 in Hickory Grove, Tad Baucom, former coach at Sun Valley, coached Sam Howell. He's now at Hickory Grove. You talk about quarterbacks, man. I think Coach Baucom might know a little bit about it. The big thing I love about them, they've got a couple kids, but the one I really like is the quarterback, Jordan Adams. He's a 2023 kid, 6'4", 205. They tagged me in his film. I mean, if you can imagine Cam Newton at maybe 14, 15 years old where he's raw, that's what this kid looks like. He's got immense potential. I think if some college coaches are looking and checking this out, that's a kid you want to get on your radar, man. He's got some tools that you can work with. Covenant Day at number 2. I think they're going to be better. I saw them up close last year when they played Cabarrus Warriors. They've got a big quarterback, 6'4" kid, stands tall in the pocket, looks like he can throw it pretty good. But the kid I love, number 5 last year, he might change his number, but he was number 5 last year, CJ Smith. Man, what an athlete. They put him everywhere. I mean, he was in the backfield, he was at receiver, he was at safety, he was at linebacker, he lined up at DN on third down a couple times. I mean, the kid can flat out play, man. And you don't know him because he's at Covenant Day, but you should. You should. He's a really great young man, great personality. He's a leader, he's vocal, and he can flat out, get it done on the football field. So I got Covenant Day 2 and then Asheville School at number 3. So small conference there. If you don't know, the NCISAA, they have a couple of divisions in the playoffs. They have a Division 1 and then a Division 2. And I don't think Division 3 played last year, but Division 3 might be back this year. I'm not sure. But it's based on your record and where you finish in the conference and things like that. So, the ultimate goal is to be in a D1 playoffs. But if you win a D2 championship, it's not bad. It's still a championship. So that's how their playoffs are set up down there. All right. Let's go to the next one. All right, we into Charlotte now. Okay. Now, I feel like I have to say my disclaimer. So, first of all, this is Queen City Conference, but before I really get into this, remember, scrimmages are tomorrow. All right? If you don't like where you're at on this, take this, and I know you coaches especially, because I coached 13 years, and I know this happens. You coaches, you take this, you screenshot it, you print it, and you put it in your locker room, and I guarantee you'll come out and you'll have a hell of a scrimmage tomorrow if you don't like where you're at. Now, if you like where you're at, you got the same kind of reverse psychology working. You got to go out and prove it and back it up. All right, so no matter what CFI and Pepman and Football Focus Weekly say, you control what happens on that field. We don't. We just do this to give you guys, the deserving attention that everyone should get because you're working hard, you're putting in hours on the practice field. You come home and you look at Twitter and Instagram and Facebook and you see some programs talked about, and then some are not talked about. We try to talk about everybody because everybody works hard. Everybody deserves some love. So that's the reason why we do this. But either way, no matter where you end up, you got some motivation, coming from us. So, all right, that's my disclaimer. Now let's get into it. All right, so number 1 here in the Queen City is Chambers. Best team in the state. I mean, you can't really argue. They're 2-time state champions. They're loaded with explosive athletes on the both sides of the football. If I started naming all the athletes, I'd be here till probably 8:30. So I'm going to highlight a couple of guys that, some people may not be aware of. So obviously, quarterback Austin Greer has graduated. So some people are asking, well, who's the next quarterback? Anshawn goes by Bubba Camp. He's been the backup, the past year or two. He's going to be the man, by all accounts, from Chambers. And from everything that I've seen on highlights and everything I've heard, this guy is more than ready to take the reins of the two-time state championship offense and, really run with it. Dual threat guy. What I've seen throwing the ball, he can definitely get it done. And when he breaks the pocket, it can be showtime. So I'm excited to see this guy put on, some highlights this season for sure. And then, of course, you think about all the other names. James Pierce, most notably on the defensive side, coming off the edge. He's got a ton of offers. Of course, Hollywood, we did the feature on him, one of his highlights from last year. He's got a ton of offers. Kevin Concepcion on the outside, dynamic, ton of offers. You see, there's a theme here. But I guarantee you, there'll be some guys coming on the scene that, don't have all that attention yet that can just, flat out get it done too. So, they're the number one for a reason, man. Number 26 in the nation too per, I think it's High School Football America poll. So, good gracious. Yeah, they're fun to watch, man. All right, Huff, number 2. I think they're dangerous. Very good coaching staff. Respect the hell out of those guys. Of course, the big question is, continues to be for Huff, can they get over the playoff hump? This year, they've got, Kyle has a good comment right here. Huff running game is going to be nuts. Yeah. They got the guys up front that can, get it done on the offensive line to make those holes for, a talented running back group. Xavion Turner-Knox is at Huff, if you weren't aware. He won MVP at running back at our spring player showcase. He was at North Mech. And then, oh my gosh, this young man coming over from Providence Day, man. He's an Evan Pryor clone is what he looks like. I'm so excited. I'll tell you, in the preseason, I was so excited to see him. I projected him on the spring team. I forgot he couldn't play because he played at Providence Day. But I'm telling you, man, that running back duo is going to be something else. And then, not even mentioning the quarterback, Tad Hudson, who just committed to North Carolina, by the way. A little talent right there too. So I'm telling you, they're going to be fun to watch as well up there. And then defensively, Chachi Sullivan calling defense. He's always finds a way to scheme it up and get it done also. So man, it's those top two. I mean, they could split again. Like they have the past couple years, so you never know, what you're going to get out of that matchup. All right, so number 3, I have Mallard Creek. And, there's been talk out there about, are they going to be the same, Creek that we've come to know over the years, the demise of the Creek, it's over, and so forth, and all that stuff that you hear all the time. I'm going to say this. I saw that they had, 150 plus kids at practice. I'm going to tell you, man, no matter what's going on in the program, you got 150 something kids out there. You got a chance, man. You got a chance. And it's not like, Coach Tinsley is some, bum off the street. The man can coach. He's had success doing it his way in other places. So I think the second year, obviously in transition, it's a big change from Coach Paul Mary, who was there for such a long time, to Coach Tinsley. I think they're going to be better than what most people believe. If you haven't seen their schedule, they're not ducking anybody. And a lot of people are saying, wow, are they going to win any of those games in the non-conference? Or if it's not going to do anything else, it's going to make them ready to play in this conference. I'll tell you that. And I commend them for that. Because, a lot of the times, as coaches, you look at your preseason scheduling a couple different ways. Some coaches, you might want to get a good mix in there. a game that you project to be a little easier than a game that, about the same level, then you just try to get 2 games that may be tougher to see where you are. They just went out and said, you know what, we're going to challenge ourselves. And they are doing it. So, absolutely, man. It's going to be interesting, but I think they're going to be better than what most people are saying. West Charlotte, I've got them at 4. I think, I've seen this before, obviously, under Coach Griner and at Harding. First year at Harding, Coach Griner went 1-9, and in the second year they got the 5-7. And then, of course, what happened in the third year? They win the state title. So I think they're going to be improved under Coach Griner. I think the key is going to be the quarterback position. They've got some guys that can, go get the ball on the outside. Obviously, with Chancellor Morrow committed to Louisville. I wish he was related to me. I'd be projecting to make some money. So I think he's got NFL, possible in his future, but he is not related to me, unfortunately. He's a great young man. We interviewed him. Actually, when we interviewed him, it was before he blew up, and we were telling him, saying, dude, it's coming. You look at this film, there's no way. And it definitely came for him. So, but they got some other guys in Q May, Samir Murphy, that can make some plays. I like Murphy in a 3-wide set. I put him in the slot. Oh my gosh, him and May. And you try to put Morrow opposite that, and oh man, you can do some things. But they just got to find the guy to pull the trigger over there to get it done. North Meck, man, I'm tell you something. We had several players from North Meck come to our last camp under the lights to jump off. They got some guys, and they got some talent that's under the radar. I swear to you, they have a receiver in Jeffrey McDonald. I know a lot of kids. I didn't know this kid going into this camp, and he came out of there as a top 5 performer, and he runs some of the best routes that I've seen. College coaches come up to me saying, "Hey, man, who is this kid?" Well, he's a player, man. You got him and Jelani, the big, tall, 6'3", 6'4" kid opposite him. If they got a guy that can throw it, those guys are going to be able to, do some things. And I think they're going to be in some games, man. They're going to play hard. Coach McKee, he's a heck of a motivator. Clark Brown at linebacker came to the camp, got top 5. Heck of a player, man. They got some guys at North Meck. Devin Cunningham, big tight end. He's also a basketball player. But he moves well, man. He's 6'4". I'm telling you, they got some guys that are under the radar that can really play the game for sure. Hopewell at 6. Oh, they had some really good seniors, some really good guys that did some good things in that program. Some big shoes to fill for sure for Coach Bird and those guys. But they got a guy in I didn't mean to do that. They got a guy in Major Weathers that has played DB the past couple years. He's not the tallest kid, but he can flat out play. He's gonna, I think step into a leadership role for those guys, and really make a difference on that defensive side of football. And in West Meck, they're coming. West Meck reminds me of Harding 2 years before they won the state title. I was telling people, I coached that group in 2014 when they were freshmen and JV players. I said, give them 2 years. 2 years, they're going to be something. That's what I think about West Meck. They're young and talented, and they're going to be tough. So I would say get them now before they really get going. B.D. Waddell, coach's son, very talented young man. I remember he came to our camp, one of our camps as a freshman, and held his own. And I said, he's going to be a player. So I expect, West Meck to really grow over the coming years for sure. All right, comments. Let's see. Kyle, I said, I think Huff is built for a better playoff success this year on paper. Wouldn't be at all shocked to see them make a deep run, no pun intended. Yeah, there you go. That'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. Playoffs are all about matchups and, chess games and all that. That's why it was so fun to see both the Vince Huff matchups last year. The things that Vance did in that, I'm saying Vance Chambers, good gracious. The things that Chambers did in that second game, in that playoff game, the changes they made schematically, it was great, from a coaching perspective to see how, two really good staffs, kind of play that chess match. It was really, really fun to see. Let's see. Markel Riley, Huff is always built like that, never have the chemistry to really finish. Well, I mean, you can say that, for sure based on the past results. But every year is different. You can't, necessarily take the past results, predict the future results, because we used to say that about Chambers all the time. Chambers, if you guys remember a couple years ago, they would get, it was like that old classic stair-step thing. First they had to get past the third round. Then they had to get to the semifinal game. Then they had to get to the championship game. But they couldn't never get over the hump. But then finally, once they broke through, now you see where they are. So, you never know when that breakthrough is going to happen, for sure. Let's see. There she is, Miss Ferguson. We were looking for you earlier. Talking about your son a little bit. A lot of talent under the radar. Can't wait till the season starts. Absolutely. There is more talent, I feel, that's under the radar this year than I have ever felt before in Charlotte. It is amazing. It's amazing. OP, I'm going to leave you alone, man, about the chicken sandwiches. We've gotten past that. Okay, can't wait to see how this is going to play out once conference play starts. Yeah. And that's the thing, man. When you get down to conference predictions, you can be 0-4 in the pre-conference. But when you get to conference play, it goes out the window, so to speak, because that's what gets you into the playoffs, your conference record. Now you get into tiebreakers and that kind of thing, then your overall gets into it. But conference play is where it's at, and that's what we're talking about right here. We're talking about conference play. That's what makes the difference here. Miss Moten, I think all the boys are going to show out this year. Let's talk about that for a second before we get to the next one. So we're coming off something unprecedented here, with a spring season and then a fall season. So it's a quick turnaround, and you almost have to look at teams that have a lot coming back as a major advantage here. Because if you're trying to, really integrate some new things into your culture, into, learning plays and schemes and things like that, if you just came off the spring season and you're cohesive and you got a lot of returning players, you could get out the gate real fast and, have a nice record going into conference play. Now, the flip side of that, obviously, is the new coaches. New coaches having to come in and instill their culture in a short period of time. Typically, you have that, full off season of, building culture in the weight room and team building and all that stuff. And you don't have that here. So that's going to be real interesting to see how coaches, new coaches especially, integrate that culture in a short period of time. And I think you've seen in some places it's really going well. And then in some places, maybe not so much. So that's a good point right there. All right. Calvin wants to talk about Hopewell. Well, I'll tell you this, Calvin. Like I said, they had a lot of good, guys that graduated out of that program. We love Fred Bates. He was an MVP at one of our Under the Lights camps. He did a great job, for that program for a long time. Arion Wharton was another, guy. And then, of course, Julian Gray, up at NC State. I just saw on social media he's doing some big things up there. And I know I heard some coaches, really raving about that guy and what he's doing, early as a freshman. So, once again, Coach Bird's one of our favorite guys. Really, really intelligent coach on the defense side of football. Been a Queen City Senior Bowl coach, the last 2 years. One of our favorites for sure. And, we'll see, how they bounce back from losing some good guys this year. All right, let's jump to our next conference in Charlotte. All right, Southwestern. Whew, this was tough. This was the toughest one to do. You look at these teams, man. The talent here is just incredible in this league. We're gonna talk about it, as the season goes on. What conference in Charlotte is the big one? We used to talk about the IMEC all the time, but now, with the realignment, which is the daddy conference in the city? And I think right now you might say the Southwestern, from top to bottom, could be that league. All right, let's get into it, man. All right, let me change my banner here real quick. All right, so number one, Charlotte Catholic, 4-time state champions. You have to give them the respect here. Number one in the Southwestern Conference projection. You look at those guys, you can highlight any number of kids you want to off of them because they're so hardworking and well coached and all those things. But the one I want to highlight is Jack Larson, the tight end who's now getting all the attention and all the offers and Notre Dame and all these other D1 programs. I'm gonna tell you something, man, and y'all are not gonna believe me, but I swear to you, he came to our second Under the Lights camp we had in December of, was that 20, I think? Yeah, 20. And he was a freshman, and no one knew him. And, I'm going around and, doing the thing at the camp, and I had people keep coming up to me. It's like, hey, you got to see this tight end, man. He is killing people. And I said, tight end? I said, we got one tight end. He's a freshman. And you mean tell me a freshman's killing people? They said, yes, come down here. So I go down there, and lo and behold, he's not dropping a thing. His routes are crisp. I mean, he's got good, release for him. He was doing stuff flexed out and from the tight end spot. And I mean, he's such a respectful kid. I talked to his dad a good bit after the camp. Really good family. And I am so excited for that young man to see him growing and prospering and, getting all the attention because, he's a talent. He is a talent, man. And then, so I've got Butler at number 2. We went up there last year to their last game in the playoffs against Grimsley. And I know me and Brandon, we really felt like Butler was really this close from breaking that game open a couple of times. They just missed on a couple big plays. And that game could have been really different if they hit one or two of those big plays early on. But obviously that showed that they're still state title contenders. I think they're going to challenge again this year. You start talking about Butler. We're going to dig into them a little bit more when we preview the CFI Classic because they're in it in the showcase game. But you think about Bryce Dixon at D-tackle. He's going to Liberty. What a talented young man. Good gracious. Burst off the ball is incredible. Really good with his hands. And then the power, of course, from that D-tackle spot. And then Xavier Brower at quarterback. I think he's going to be really good in Coach Hale's system. I'm excited to see that. And then they've got some other kids. And what I want to highlight, there's a name that you may not be aware of, and I want to make sure I get it right. Trayvon Tinsley. I got him listed as an athlete. He made all-conference at Garinger last year. So I started looking at film for this kid last year. Because when I saw he made all conference, I said, let me look into him. He is a classic fit in Coach Hale's system. If you put him at that wing spot or even at the big running back spot, although he's more of a wing guy, he can do the motion with him, the jet sweeps, the play action stuff, out to the flat, or then he can split him out wide and do some things. I'm excited to see how he uses Tinsley in his offense this year. I got Providence at 3. They got some really good talent. Now you think about this: Catholic and Butler are the top 2, and then Providence at 3. I tell you, that's a tough group right there. Providence, they made the second round of playoffs last year. They've got some returning starters back, most notably Jamar Price at the running back spot. They got Ballas at linebacker. He's a heck of a player. They got some changes going on at the quarterback spot. Gonna be a young kid. I think he's gonna be talented. He's a big kid. I'm excited to see him throw the football. But of course, that big offensive line, good gracious. Anytime you got a big offensive line, you got a chance. You got a chance, man. I can't wait to get the comments on this. Let me get through the rest of this. Oh, man, you guys are mid-season form already. Good gracious. All right. And then for Independence, oh, good gracious. Everything that I've heard and the things that I've seen, from what you can kind of piece together, they are improved. They're improved. I think Coach McFadden's going over there, and he's instilling culture. The videos that I see of them, working out and everything, you can tell it's a different, type of environment. The key for them is how fast can it come together before conference to see if they can break that top three. I sat there with Providence and Independence, and I was sitting there and I was thinking, and I kept thinking, and the one thing, I talked about it earlier. We talked about that cohesion coming off the spring season. That was the difference. That's why I put Providence 3. That's why I put Independence 4. But that's going to be a heck of a game between those two for sure. Rocky River at 5. I think they've got some pieces. I've talked about quarterback Khalil Archie and how much he's improved. He made MVP at our Under the Lights camp we just had. Rashad McCullum returning all-conference lineman. And then Kendall Stanley at offensive lineman. Good gracious, what a big man. He might be 17, 18, but that is a man at offensive tackle, man. But I think the key for Rocky River is the depth. If they have some good depth when those guys get tired and they need a break, that's going to determine how much noise they can make and can they push into that top half of this league. And then Justin Adams went out to East Meck. He's an East Meck grad. He went out and checked East Meck out today. Coach Sanders, I got a ton of respect for him. You talk about culture. That's a man that will build a heck of a culture at East Meck. And they're going to play hard for 4 quarters. And all he needs is time there. And that's my honest opinion. All right. You guys in these comments, man. Good gracious. All right. Coach Hart. Charlotte Catholic, welcome to 4A football again. Hey, they did pretty good in 4A before, Coach. I don't think they scared. I think they welcome it, to be honest with you. And then Butler having a tough schedule. Yep. They're going to play that game in Maryland, as a matter of fact. That's a good call on that. And I want to share that. I want to make sure I get to that before the show ends, because there's an opportunity if you want to go up and support Butler in that game. They're offering an opportunity to do that. So I want to make sure that I share that before the show's over. Patrick, Charlotte Catholic is a beast. Both their lines look like college lines. I'm going to tell you, man, they had a D lineman at our camp, Gavin Hood. He was top, I think he was top 5. I can't remember. Either way, he was impressive. He was impressive for sure. And, I don't know where they get these linemen from, man, but they just breed them over there. Kyle Smith saying Butler over Catholic. I'd make a wager on that. It'll be a heck of a game, man. It's going to be a heck of a game. Let's see here. Got a lot of comments. You guys are doing good on this. Let's see. Coach Hart, man, I tell you. Luke Bailey, saving this for later. See, that's what I'm talking about, man. Motivation. Although, I think you guys are a playoff team, man. If you guys aren't aware, there's no more subdivided in the playoffs either. So it's going to be 4 classifications, 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A. And then it's just going to be, I think it's 64 teams. So they split it 32 West, 32 East. And then, you got your seeding that breaks down from there. So, hey, the opportunity's there for the playoffs for sure. Let's see. Oh, Miss Perry, how you doing? Thanks for watching, Miss Perry. East Meck's new and energized coaching staff has finally given Bruce Perry opportunity to play position to showcase his strength and speed after 60-pound weight loss last year. See a big senior year from him? I hope so. We interviewed Mr. Perry, about 8-9 months ago. Such a great and respectable young man. And I'm excited to see, he's going to be showcased because he deserves it. He deserves it, man. Coach Hawk, playoffs going to be absolutely. I can't wait. I cannot wait for the playoffs this year. I'm telling you. If we got time next week, I want to go through the new playoff system. I think the state put it out, how it's going to work for seeding and things like that. But yeah, playoffs are going to be a lot of fun this year, man. All right, let's take a look at the next one. SOMEC. All right. In the SOMEC conference, we've got, let's change our banner there. All right, so number one, I got Myers Park. I feel like the top end talent is strong. I've highlighted a couple guys that they've got coming into the program. Jaden Scott, very talented defensive back from Texas. And then another young man whose name escapes me. I think he's from Texas also. Oh, he is a heck of a receiver, man. You put him with Kamarion Man Thornton on the other side, and you got Lucas pulling the trigger at the quarterback spot. I mean, it's going to be, really fun to watch. And then, of course, Lucas is my player to watch from Myers Park. I think 247 has him as the best quarterback in North Carolina. He's not the prototypical size, but, I mean, his accuracy is incredible. I remember watching one of his highlights from 7-on-7. He put a ball in a spot that you couldn't draw any better if you had the opportunity. And then the experience that they got last year, making that run to the state semifinals, I think that's going to allow these guys to win the league this year, in my honest opinion. Even with the coaching change, I think that talent is that strong that they have on the top end in the senior class. But they're going to be challenged. It's not going to be a cakewalk for sure. We saw them win close games last year. I remember the games against Butler. You remember the game against Hickory Ridge. Those games, really came down to the wire. I think this league has the potential to do that again. Number two, I got South Mech. I think they're much improved. They've got a lot of talent. They've worked hard. They've got more homegrown talent there, in my opinion. I remember going over there when Coach Evans got the job, and those guys were just busted it. And if you guys know Joe Evans, he's going to bust it in the weight room every time. They're coming off momentum. They won 4 games to end the season last year. I think they're going to push toward the top of the league because of that. So, of course, Jacob Newman at the I know I keep doing that. I'm switching the wrong window. Jacob Newman at the running back spot, coming in from Myers Park. I think that gives them a strong identity. Although I did mention they have Jake Brennan already at the running back spot, who was all conference last year. They've got some guys at receiver that can make some plays as well. And then the offensive line. We talk about big offensive lines. I mean, good gracious, these guys. The big Williams at the right tackle spot. And then our O-line MVP from the camp. His name is good gracious. What is his name escaping me? But they've got I got too many names on this screen. They've got a lot of talent up front. And then defensively, you flip it over, Matthew Reddick at linebacker. Of course, our buddy Panos at linebacker. Trenton Santiago's another talented kid I've been on since a freshman when he was at East Meck, and he moved to South. And then Moss at the DB spot. They've got, a good bit over there that can, really, get it done. A couple of comments before I move on. You guys are really hitting on the comments. That's good stuff, man. Coach Hart talking about Linhoff, deep ball. Yeah. I mean, I did that interview with him after he had that, game-breaking performance in the first round of playoffs. And I mean, now he had some guys that were open, but still, it was a beautiful thing to watch. South Meck, a lot of talent, good staff. I agree wholeheartedly on that. Markel Riley, Evans was my coach in middle school and high school. That's my guy. Offense is crazy. Plan on going to one of his games. There you go. And I got breaking news. Teron Williams tells me he's been moved to left tackle. So there you go. Thank you, Teron, for watching, man. I appreciate that. Appreciate the breaking news on Football Focus Weekly. That's good stuff, man. All right. All right, let's continue on the SOMEC. Archie Kell, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. They lost a good bit to graduation. But I think they're very well coached. I mean, Coach Jocham, you talk about guys under the radar that I feel like we don't talk about enough. He doesn't seek out the spotlight at all. I'll tell you that, though. We went over there to interview him a couple years ago. He was, he was really good, but, he really wants it to be about his players, and I can definitely respect that. They are definitely well coached. They're going to be a tough out. Our AK is one of those teams that, they always get better as the season goes along. And you think about that first round playoff game. They had Chambers down by 2 scores early in the third quarter. And I'm telling you, man, I have never felt that kind of atmosphere before with Chambers. And now, the heart of a champion, they came back and won, but they had those guys ready and with a great game plan. That was one of the best game plans I've seen, in years. It was good stuff. So I'm excited to see, how they, kind of pan out this year. Olympic, for so many, it seems like they've been there 8 years with Sean Bowles and Smith in the backfield, but they've graduated and moved on. And then the guys, on defense that Coach Hart led, we had them in the Queen City Senior Bowl. Really good guys. So we're going to see, how they bounce back. Coach Hart, AK quarterback Jack Curtis, oh yeah. Some of us on this show feel like, he is vastly underrated. And we've had a debate about this off camera about who is the best team. Not the best team, the best quarterback in the city. And, you might, see something come out about that. I'm just saying. But and I think sometimes it's all about what you want too, because there's different guys that do different things. And, if you want to sit back and, throw it 50 times, Jack Curtis is your guy. You talking about gunslinger, and he is not scared. I remember last year against Chambers, he sat in that pocket and he took shot after shot after shot and was putting the ball on the money. That game told me a lot. That told me a lot about that young man, and I told him. I was like, hey, you got it. Whatever, you talk about guys that have it. He has it. I'm telling you. And, I'm excited to see him again this year. Let's see. So we got Barry. Of course, we've been talking about Barry for at least I have been talking about Barry. I feel like I'm not the only one. But they've got talent. Quarterback Jaleel Quick obviously has grown up. I'm excited. I love seeing kids progress throughout their careers. You talking about, Jack Curtis. I saw him on JV against, Quick. And I said both of those guys, man, they're going to be something when they get to be their senior years. And now here we are. I think, I said this last year about them. If everything can come together for those guys, they can do something. But, and this is another one of those instances. They got some different coaches in the building. If they can, kind of get everybody on the right page, I think they can do some things. The young man at running back, Hale, speed personified. Oh, my gosh. I remember I was at Ashbrook when they played last year, and he got into space, and, man, it's fun. He's fun to watch, man. And then Harding, I think they're going to be improved this year, just from, being in the weight room. They were so young last year. Those guys have worked out hard. They look different. I've seen them a good bit this summer. They did well in the CFI shootout. They came in second place. They've got some guys, some receivers that can really make some plays. So if they get the time up front to throw the football, I think they've got some guys. Most notably, all-conference receiver Octavion Davis. And I said it on I think I said it on – no, I'll get to that in a second when we preview the CFI Classic. But Run first offense, if he's able to make all conference at receiver, he's probably the best receiver you don't know about. And I advise college coaches to get over there and check him out. He's that good. He just is. I'm just telling you. So we got a couple more comments. Miss Moten Curtis, very underrated. I agree. I don't understand why more people don't talk about him. I've loved the kid ever since I saw him on JV. Coach Hart saying Barry will be better. I agree. Those guys have grown up, another year. And then Maurice Macon, wide receivers at Barry are special. Yep. I liked all those guys last year. And I remember I asked somebody, they kept telling me about another receiver at Barry, and I said, there's another one? And there's like 6 that I like over there. So I don't know. They just continue to have receivers, at that school. It's crazy. But, anyway. That's the SOMEC conference prediction. And like I said, it's motivation for, you guys that don't like where you are. And if you do like where you are, now you got a chance to come out and back it up a little bit. So, let's see here. Where are we at on the schedule here? All right, we're only 5 minutes off. So let's go ahead and preview our CFI Classic, which is Friday. This Friday. August the 13th. Is it the 13th? Yeah, it's Tuesday. That's why I'm off here. All right, so this Friday, starting at 5 o'clock, I got a couple things I want to share real quick about the Jamboree that I haven't had a chance to really put out there yet. Number one is sponsored by Body Armor. Body Armor has been a great partner with Charlotte Football Insiders. They sponsored 3 of our camps. And then we told them about the Jamboree, and they really decided to jump in. And we've got so much Body Armor, on deck that we don't know what to do with it. But every team will get, I believe it's about 60 bottles of Body Armor. And then we'll have water for the teams as well. It'll be free. Of course, it's sponsored. Each team will get free food. They're going to get pizzas to eat after their scrimmage games. And that's going to be free of charge. So you can take care of every team that comes out to the CFI Classic. A couple other things that are going to be going on. We have a community partner in Ton of Visions. Ton of Visions does a great job with doing a lot of great community things and helping the community. They're going to be there. They're going to have a table passing out book bags and free school supplies. And it's going to be outside the Jamboree. So even if someone, doesn't come in for the Jamboree and they just want to come up to Mountain Island and, get some school supplies for the upcoming year, Ton of Visions will be passing those out. And that's Kyrie Thames. He leads that. Kyrie played at Harding under, I was on the staff, obviously. He's a great young man. He loves to get back to the community. I can't thank him enough for coming out and being a part of the CFI Classic in that very generous manner for sure. We're going to honor some community leaders during breaks in the action. We got some plaques of some people that we want to honor for doing great stuff in the community. So that's going to be pretty cool. We'll have a food truck from Cafe Taylor. They'll have some wings. They'll have some cheese steaks. I think some chicken sandwiches. All that good stuff. At the concession stand, the Mountain Island cheerleading crew will be selling hot dogs, nachos, and drinks. The event, if you can't make it out, it will be live streamed by D1 Media Pro. The same people that live streamed our camp and did a great job. They'll be live streaming each matchup. And you can go on the NFHS network and look at the live streams. I think he'll put the links out for those. If not already, he'll put them out the day of on Friday. If you do want to come out, tickets are $10. $10 will get you into all 4 matchups. The link is on Twitter. If you go to my Twitter, you'll see it. Facebook. If you go on to Facebook, Charlotte Football Insiders, the link is there. Also, If you go to our Instagram profile at Charlotte Football Insiders, the link is there in our bio. If you want to click and go ahead and pre-purchase your tickets, I would highly suggest doing that. You can get them at the gate, but you're still going to have to scan a QR code. It's all electronic. Obviously, we still, are dealing with COVID. We don't want to handle a bunch of money, so either you pay online or you get to the game. You'll have a QR code up. You can scan that and pay for your tickets at the gate that way. But it's going to be a very exciting time. 8 teams are going to be in attendance. Starting right here, you see on the screen, we've got the Highland Tech Rams led by Pedro Truesdale as the head coach. They got a tight end, DN, and Trent Dockery, who's a good-sized kid at 6'4". They're playing Pine Lake at 5 o'clock. I expect them to come out and establish the running game. They had a really good running back last year in Caleb Foster. Obviously, you've got to find a way to replace him. That's going to be a big factor, in their offensive attack this season. Kyle, I see your comment. I'm not going there, okay? All right. Playing Highland Tech, we've got Pine Lake. Pine Lake's coming off a great season, as I mentioned earlier in the preview. They went 8-1 in the spring season, but like I said, they lost a lot to graduation. They're playing at 5 o'clock, of course, like we just mentioned. Best season in school history last year. Like I said, Colby Lane, I think it's going to be the guy that they lean on while they get everyone else up to speed. All right, then 6:15, we've got South Mech. They're playing Rocky River. Like I said, it'll be exciting to see Jacob Newman in the new colors for the first time officially. Coming off 4 straight wins in the spring season. Like we were saying earlier, Jacob Newman gives them identity on offense. Defensively, all 3 levels, I think they're going to be sound. And then they're playing Rocky River, led by Orlando Gray, another great guy. That's one thing I love about this CFI Classic. We got some really good guys leading these teams. We talked about Khalil Archie as the player to watch. Once again, that's at 6:15. One of the things I love about Rocky River is the fact that, you look at their games last year, they were in games against playoff teams. And like I said, if they get that improved depth, and then Archie can translate his offseason improvement to the field between the lines, I think they got something. I think it's a team that, some people have forgot about. And I think, they kind of like being under the radar for sure. All right, so then in our primetime matchup, we got the Butler Bulldogs, led by Brian Hales. Of course, we talked about Bryce Dixon earlier when we were talking about the Southwestern Conference. They're playing Olympic at 7:30, the time that most games should start in Charlotte instead of 7. Really good spring season at 8-2. Like I said before, I expect them to be a state championship contender once again. Bryce Dixon, big-time talent on D-line. And they got some other guys on defense that can make some plays. And then, like I said before, Xavier Brower, I think he's talented, and I think he fits really well in a Coach Hale's offense. A number of talented skill guys, including wide receiver Tyrion Moore, or Ty Moore. I should have put Ty. That's what he goes by. But it'd be fun to see him distribute the ball to, Ty and all those different guys, and like Trayvon Tinsley I mentioned earlier as well. All right, like I said, they're playing Olympic. And Olympic, in their own right, had a very good season last year. 6-2 in the spring season. Lost in the first round in a tough game up in the Raleigh area. I can't remember who they lost to, but anyway. DB Solo Barnes. I'm tell you something, man. I love watching this kid. He's a legit 6'2", 6'3" corner. You don't get that a lot. I mean, legit, lockdown guy. Physically impressive. And I think he's going to help pick up the slack from losing those guys we talked about earlier to graduation. And then offensively, it's going to be real interesting to see, what Olympic looks like on offense. They have new starters at the quarterback and running back spot. I think it's going to lead them into a new era, obviously, on offense under a talented coaching staff. Coach Thompson and Coach Hart, do a great job, with those guys over there. And, it's going to be interesting to see, what they come up with, early on this season. Okay. All right, let's do our last two. We've got the Harding Rams led by Van Smith. I tell you, man, Van's been around a long time. Done a lot of good stuff here in the Charlotte area coaching. Of course, his son, very talented. You guys know that have been around in Charlotte for a long time. We talked about Octavian Davis earlier. They're playing the home team out now at 8:45. Spring season we know was tough for him, but like I said, Octavian made all conference in the run first team. I think they're much improved. Like I said, they finished second in the CFI shootout, and I think they're excited about being in. This is the showcase game here against the home team. So, I remember going to jamborees. You can play the home team. Everyone's looking at the home team, and those kind of situations. You've been there all day, and then the home team finally comes out. There's some pressure. There's pressure on the home team to go out and perform, and Harding can take advantage of that. And then finally, the home team, Mountain Island. Of course, led by Robert Washington, my good friend and buddy. Athlete Trey Nicholson, of course, is the player to watch. If you've seen our Instagram, and that crazy juke that we featured out there. 8:45 matchup. They went 2-5, which we said was, uncharacteristic of them, but I expect Trey to be lining up everywhere on offense. He's going to be dynamic. And then it's going to be interesting to see what the new coordinators do, at Mountain Island, and see how they lean on those seniors to have a bounce-back strong season this year. All right, so CFI Classic, please come out. It's going to be a great night. A lot of fun stuff going on, good food, good fun. And number one about the CFI Classic, we want to take care of everybody that, comes out as far as from a football team perspective. And that's why we're feeding them. And that's why Body Armor is sponsoring it, because they want to help support kids. They're a great partner with CFI. So good stuff. All right. Now I've talked enough. We're going to bring on someone else to talk, and that's going to be Defensive Coordinator Zeek Bigger with the Ashbrook Green Wave. Let's go ahead and bring him on the show now. All right, Coach, how we doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, Coach. I appreciate you taking some time out to speak with us tonight, man. All right, first of all, a lot of people told me that, of course, you played in the NFL, and you played with, the Carolina Panthers.
Yes,
talk to us a little bit about that experience, and what do you think from that experience you can, kind of put into these young men that you're leading right now?
Oh man, I want to say thank you for having me first of all,
Absolutely.
and then we can go on that. Man, what a journey! That experience was unbelievable. I don't even have any words really to explain that. But it was a great time and great part of my life. Being able to learn from the superiors, the great man, that Luke Kuechly guy. Y'all know who that person is. Thomas Davis, Shaq Thompson, KK Short. I can go on. It was so much fun. Just being able to understand the game even more. Knowing that going through college, being a great player and All-American, but getting there and learning how much faster the game was, learning the terminology. And like I tell my kids each and every day, in the NFL, we had a defensive call. Most defensive calls had like 8 to 7 checks to them, right? So we had to be prepared. We had to understand what was going on, all body moving parts, motioning, different things like that. So the way I prepare us as a group, as Ashbrook, is accountability. Everybody has to account for everyone, right? It's 11 men on the field. You can't win a game with 10. So I need everybody accountable. I need to know what you're doing, how you're getting there. And most thing is fly to the ball. We speak about flying to the ball. And when I say fly to the ball, I mean swarm. And we got a little motto, what we call ourselves the Sharks. We're the Green Wave. So when you come to the water, we smell blood, we see blood, we swarm. And that's the main thing about defense, man, being ready to attack and not be attacked. And being able to understand what's going on, what's the next man besides you're doing, so we can have great communication, first of all, because that's what makes a great team, and that's what makes a great defense, and always swarming to the ball. So I teach effort, determination, violence, right? I'm a linebacker, so I played the game with a lot of violence and a lot of passion. So that's what I want to bring to this group, and that's what I've been bringing to this group during the pandemic and also coming up to this year.
Man, that's awesome. Man, you got me fired up. I want to go out there and hit somebody right now. And I ain't
Hey,
done
come
that.
on, come on, man, join the Greenies. Come join the Greenies.
Man, I wish I could. My body said, no, you better sit down and hold this camera.
Hey, it's all right. We got our time, don't we? We got our time.
Amen to that, man. So I got to ask you, you mentioned playing with those guys in the NFL. What made you want to get into coaching and then, really kind of start working with young men in the first place?
To be honest with you, I've always thought about it. Of course, I went to ECU, so I'm an East Carolina, I'm a Pirate, and I remember being on the field with Coach Ruffin McNeil, which is my coach at the time. And I remember telling him going to my senior year, hey, coach, I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna coach for you. The one thing he told me, he said, no, you're not until you go to the NFL. He said, and after that, you can come coach for me. so I always thought that being funny, but everything I've asked for in life, I've received. And that's because of the work, putting in the work. As a young kid, I always said I was going to make it to the NFL. And that was coming from 12 years old, playing middle school ball. And growing up and being in college and knowing like, hey, man, I want to one day be the DC of my alum. And hey, it's happening, right? So like I tell people, the things you speak, you have to work for them, right? And you shall receive it. And just being around and knowing I can still play ball to this day. I'm 28 years old. And I can still fly around. The kids see it every day. They're like, Coach, I think you need to go back. You ain't dropped the ball. You ain't did this. And I'm looking like I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now, right? Because not only I get to touch these kids, but I get to turn these men or these young athletes and these young student athletes into grown men. Because the next level is the next level. Me and you both know, hey, you got to break it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't miss practice. You can't miss days. Because they will send you home.
Exactly.
And
it's
they
the next one up.
they find somebody just as good as you, or that is not just as good as you, but they're coachable, or they do the things that they're asked of, right? So one thing they know is that I'm always hard on them. It's tough love, right? And that's one thing I learned. I have to be hard on you because I have something that I want you to do, and if you don't do it the way I want you to do it, then hey, we got a problem, So during that time, man, learning that and being with the Panthers and seeing everything, I was just like, you know what? I got to get back to football. You got me? If I'm not playing everything about football, I have one moment. Okay.
You good, Coach?
Everything about football, I've loved, I've enjoyed. Like I tell the kids all the time, this game has took me a long way, 20 years, and I love the game just because I tell the boys I was about like a water boy. Everything that happened to me outside of school or in school that made me mad, right? I took it out in between them lines. And like I tell the kids all the time, you can't go to jail between those lines. Hey, so it's fast and violent, right? You can do what you want to do. So that's the way we approach the game, and that's what made me sit back and look at these kids and be like, man, I can touch these kids, and I'm at home. There's no better place to be at home where these kids have saw you grow, and saw you make it to that next level. So now, guess what they think they can do? They feel like they can make it to the next level.
Absolutely.
And that's how you bring a unit together. That's how you bring a team. And that's what I love about it, man. And I'm enjoying it, even the good times and the hard times, right? I'm enjoying it.
Good stuff, man. That's excellent. So talk to us a little bit about your time at Ashbrook. What's some of the best memories you have, from when you came through?
Oh, man. It's a lot of memories. So I got there 2009. Okay, so I played 2010, 2011 there in Ashbrook, and those was one of the best times of my life. My 11th grade year, Coach Briggs was my head coach. So me and Briggs, man, that's a lot. That's like a father to me. And my senior year, Coach Greg Hill. So during those times, the most exciting thing was I had a roommate, a backup partner, which is my god brother. And some of y'all may know him, know Keithius Otis. He also went to Chapel Hill. We
Yeah.
both came out together, and it was just a dog mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
Each and every day was a dog mentality, and that's one thing I'm trying to bring back to us right now as a new wave culture. Each and every day we practiced hard. Each and every day we
Mm-hmm.
showed up, right? And the
Yeah.
most things I like about it was Chris. I think this was my senior year. I was playing linebacker and running back, and I believe we was 0-4. All right, we
Yeah.
was 0-4 at the time. We came out slow. We played a good Sun Valley team. We came
Mm-hmm.
out and played a good Clover team. So
Yeah.
we coming out the first couple of weeks hot. And so going into the Crest game, I believe we was 0-4 and they was 5-0. And that was
Mm.
our first conference game. And of course, Jonathan Bullitt was there. Raheem
Oh yeah.
Ledbetter was there.
Mm-hmm.
The twins, the brothers, the track stars, Kendall Keith, and
Okay.
those boys, J.R. Ross, all them boys, man, they had a great team.
Mm-hmm.
And that game, we wanted it more, right?
Yeah.
I think at the time I was playing running back, and it was probably like a 30-yard run. I remember getting the ball. We running the same play over and over and over again. Finally, they like, I know Zeke getting the ball. I know he getting the ball, and I know I'm getting the ball too. But the mentality in my mentality in my head and my mind and my heart was, hey, I don't care. Give me the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the last play, one of the last plays, man, and I scored, and it actually put us up to win the game. I got the ball. I think we was running a power play, and I
Mm-hmm.
hit the hole. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I got hit. I'm talking about I got smacked. So
Yeah.
when I got hit, it wasn't hard enough though, because I caught my balance. I backed up out the hole. No lie, chin strap that came off my helmet. It's swinging. I remember my fullback, Arterius Warren. He had a block on Jonathan Bullard, and they was
Mm-hmm.
locked out. And the
Yeah.
only thing I did was ducked underneath and took off.
Wow.
And the next play
About the
come up,
life.
my cousin picked off an interception, and we win that game.
Nice.
So, and that's why I tell people about, it's not about what the record seems, right? You go through
Mm-hmm.
a lot of downfalls, you go through a lot of fight. It's all about the heart. And that night, man, that was a beautiful night. That was a loving night, and I really can't talk too much about South Point, man. The year they won the championship, we got beat in overtime,
Oh
2010
man.
at South Point.
Mm.
We got beat in overtime. Of course, the beginning of the season, we played them the first game of the season. Well, during our first conference game, they ended up blowing us out 35-6. So we went
Mm-hmm.
back to them in the playoffs at South Point, and we got beat in overtime. We went at halftime 0-0. So it was
Wow.
a whole different
Okay.
game, right?
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
they beat us, they went on to beat everybody else. I mean, stomp
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, as we seen.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the great moments, man. Just being around a unit and understanding how much we love the game, even through the good times and even through the bad times. All
Exactly.
right, and that's what I like to show them, man. You got to go through some things to be a great team. Because if you don't go
Amen.
through anything, I mean, what are you here for?
Amen to that,
Yeah,
man. Well
yeah,
said. Well
yes,
said,
sir.
man. Um, one of the things that I always love, talking about with guys that, played, big time football or played in the league. What is the biggest challenge that you've met trying to communicate your passion and what you know about the game to, high school kids?
Hey, that's a great question, and I can go back from coming in the pandemic last year, being my first, I guess you could say, 1.5 years of DC, because I was
Mm-hmm.
also at Victory Christian for a little bit, probably like 3 games with Coach Gaines, when I
Okay.
was released from the Panthers before I was called back.
Okay.
So this last year was really my whole season, my first time in the whole season. So when I got
Mm-hmm.
to Ashbrook, it was trying to give kids different tools,
Yeah.
right? I could see when a cornerback lines up and I know what he's doing. And I had a cornerback, and I won't mention his name at the time, and he became out being one of the best that I've ever coached and I've ever seen at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he was also one of those guys that you could see on film from the year before. He was good then,
Yeah.
right? And when I got to Ashbrook, me and him the first day of practice, we bumped heads.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm trying to give him different tools to use. But he thought I was trying to change his game. No,
Gotcha.
I'm not trying to change the game, but I got to give
Mm-hmm.
you different tools, right? You
Yeah.
can't look the same. I can't have you doing the same thing, because now the offensive coordinator or that receiver over there, they seeing what you're doing.
Right.
right? So now I got to give you different tools, right? You gotta come with different tools because if that wrench don't work, you might need a screwdriver. If
There
that
you go.
screwdriver don't work, you might need a hammer. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
it's all about the game, man. You have to learn the game and understand what to do when times get hard or when
Mm-hmm.
you're outnumbered. What if a receiver is bigger than you? What if a receiver is faster than you? What do you do to change up your game and make you a better player on things that they are doing? All right. You can't continue to use that same tool because that
Mm-hmm.
same tool gonna sooner or later get you beat.
Exactly. That's
So I
well
think,
said, man.
yeah, so I think that was the main thing. And once he understood. He was like, Coach, I got you. And I'm like, that's all I want. That's all I wanted. And they got I got this little saying that, and I say, you got me? If you
Mm-hmm.
got me, then you can play for me. If you
There you go.
understand that, you got me. So that was one of the great moments of coming in, and also a tough moment because I'm scratching my head that day, like, now do I want to take this DC job? I was
Man, that's
scratching my
good stuff.
head. So yes, sir, yes, sir.
That's awesome. You got a couple guys supporting you on here. You got let's see, DJ McFadden, Purple.
Hmm.
So he's supporting you.
What's going on, DJ? Appreciate you.
And then you got Coach Webb from Shelby, Zeek the Freak.
Hey, that's my dog, man. We just found out we was cousins. Matter of fact, that's my dog
Oh
right there.
man.
Yeah,
Man,
that's my
that's
dog
awesome.
there. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. My last question to you, Coach. What's the best way you would describe your defense at Ashbrook right now?
Fast.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let me bring it back. Smart, fast, and violent.
Okay.
That's what we're all about. I
Mm-hmm.
think we showed a lot of people last year a different team. I think we showed a lot of people a different image of who we are and what we are.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I came in to change. And when I come in to change, I mean what I say, and I say what I mean.
Right.
And the reason why is because I wore that jersey. You got me? I wore
Yeah.
that green. It means a lot to me. And like I tell these kids each and every day, this game could be here one day, it could be gone the next, right? An injury is
Absolutely.
you never know. But one thing you're gonna do is give me 110%. Give me the effort, give me the love, show me how much you love this game. Because there's a lot
Mm-hmm.
of people out here that want to play this game, they can't. And
Amen
I
to
tell them that, and I
that.
tell them that every day. And like I tell them, they look at me and be like, "Done, coach, for real? Yeah, man, I used to cry, shed tears before every game. Why? Because I don't know if it's my last.
Mm,
But I promise you, I'm gonna give you everything I got, and it won't be no regrets when I leave the field. So,
amen.
just flying around, man. About a defense is all about communication. You got me. You can't be scared to talk. I can't have no mute people on defense. If you mute, you're not gonna help me none. I don't care if the offense know what I'm running or what I'm doing. Guess what? You know what you're supposed to do. So
Amen.
handle business, right? And that's the way I look at it, man. The boys enjoy it. They love it. The X's and O's are great. But not only
Mm-hmm.
football, man, it's more than football. It's letting these kids know how much you care,
Amen.
how much you depended on them, and they should be dependent on you. If I'm gonna be at practice, I'm gonna be on meetings. You're gonna be on there too. So we got a little thing where the standard is the standard, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
there's no going underneath our standard, all right? And that's what we look at it. But and I enjoy it because, like I say every day, the greenies are back. The greenies are back.
That's well said, man. You got me fired up. Like I said, man. Where can people check out the greenies? I know you guys are in the Gaston County Jamboree Friday.
No, actually, yeah, we're in Lincoln, so we're gonna be in East
Oh,
Lincoln.
Lincoln. Okay,
We'll be
East
in East
Lincoln.
Lincoln.
All right.
5:30. We'll be playing West Lincoln.
Okay.
And I believe it's a half game. So
Okay.
we will be there, and then we'll be coming on home on 20th to play the Concord Spiders.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So
All
we'll be
right.
ready. We'll be ready, locked and loaded. And I'm just ready to get out there and see what our team is all about. We drown out the naysayers. We drown out what people got to talk about and what people say. We
Mm-hmm.
we we have to do what we have to do. And one of the mottos: if you want some, come get some.
There you
We
go.
don't hide from nobody, right? And
I
there's no
love it.
reason to hide. It's time to get better, and it's time to play who we can play and when we can play them, and let's see what we all about.
Nice. Coach, I'm excited, man. I know Ashbrook fans are excited. I ran into somebody at Walmart. I live out here in Gaston County, so
Okay.
yeah, I ran into somebody and they said, "Man, Ashbrook had a winning season last year. I'm excited. I want to check them out." And I said, "Hey, they're doing some big things, man. So obviously you got some community behind you already, man. So
Yes, sir. Yes,
you know,
sir.
excited to talk with you tonight, man. And once again, appreciate the time, man. Thank you so much."
Thank you. I appreciate you, and I hope I'll be seeing you again.
Oh, I'll be there. It's right there.
Yes, sir. Come on, come on. Hey, come and see us, man. Come and see us. I appreciate you once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
it, man.
Yeah.
All right, that was Coach Zeek Bigger, Defensive Coordinator for the Ashbrook Green Wave, doing a great job with those guys. Got the community fired up, and excited to see how they come out this year. First winning season for Ashbrook in a long time. All right, so for the 22 people that are still here, thank you. It's slime time. I'm not gonna do my intro because Kenneth's not here, but we do gotta talk about something, man. I'm gonna be real brief. Today I saw Stuart Kramer had their field, vandalized. Somebody drove across the field, leaving marks and all this stuff. We interviewed Coach Lash from Chambers a couple weeks ago. Someone messed up their field by driving on it. And then when I posted the Stuart Kramer picture, Coach Cunningham from South Mex said they had their field vandalized with somebody driving on it. He put the picture up on Twitter as well. I mean, come on, guys. What the hell are we doing? I mean, why are we sitting here vandalizing football fields for kids? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the allure of doing that is. I mean, that's just stupid. You're taking something away from kids that work so hard, all year long, and it's just I don't understand it. What are you getting out of that? You think you're disrupting practice, or you got a vendetta against somebody? I don't know what the motivation is to do that, to destroy a football field. I mean, I've sat here and fought for Harding for 3 years to have nicer facilities, and the field at Harding is already in bad shape. People work hard on these facilities, man. I think about people like Michael Bear, who does a lot of work with Providence, but he also helps a lot of people in the community like Chambers and Harding and all those guys. He puts hours of time. He puts his own money into it, and then you want to go out there and destroy a field for what? You're not proving anything. You're being and I try to stay PG on here, and I'm gonna stay PG, but you're being a jerk. But there's some other terms I could use if we're all adults that are white. Well, most of us are. You know what I can say about that, but let's just stop it, man. Let's just stop it. I think Joe Hughes weighing in. He thinks Kramer was some kids, but I mean, kids, adults, whatever. It's stupid. It's stupid at the end of the day, and you're not doing anything to prove a point or get back at somebody because I don't know. It's just stupid. Now I hope all these stadiums, they have cameras. We saw it in the case of Chambers, and I'm sure Stuart Kramer probably has some cameras and they're looking into it. And I hope whoever did it gets caught. Because we got to stop this foolishness. I mean, it's not helping anybody. Back in the day when people wanted to do that stuff, you painted the school rock or something. I don't. If in the case of kids, I don't know. But at the end of the day, man, most of the time you're able to talk these things out if it's something personal. I mean, let's work it out or find a better way to handle this kind of stuff because it's just stupid. And there's Coach from South Mick right there. I know y'all with Joe Evans. I know y'all gonna work either way. I mean, he'll practice in the parking lot. I think that's happened before. I don't know. I think that's why I said that. Anyway, yeah. But that's my slime for tonight. Y'all just y'all need to stop that foolishness because it doesn't make any sense. All right. So next week. We got a lot of exciting stuff. We'll be back on Wednesday. The CMS Best of Last will be back. It'll be the first edition going into week 1. We'll have the Blitz back. The Blitz is our weekly previews. We're going to have them for Mecklenburg, Gaston, Cleveland, Union, and Cabarrus County. So you got 5 counties in the Blitz this year. Every week we're going to preview those games. And we got something a little new that's exciting. A lot of people asked for it last year. It's going to come out this year. I think you guys will be excited. So I won't talk more about that until we debut it next week, but I'm very excited to bring this out. So, yeah, football is here. Tomorrow, get out to a scrimmage, support your schools. I got a little mini poll going on Instagram on trying to decide where I'm going tomorrow. I hadn't decided yet. A lot of people, I got like 8 Instagram messages from players wanting me to go somewhere. So once we decide once I decide where I'm going, I'll put it out there. And, if you see me, say hello. It's always good to meet everybody in person. But once again, great show tonight. I want to thank Coach Bigger over at Ashbrook for his time, for sure. Really, really energetic defensive coordinator, former Panthers player. We'll cut that up. We'll have that out there in case you missed it. And then, hey, Coach, we'll see you Friday. All the guys in the CFI Classic decided to see you guys on Friday over at Mountain Island. Remember, tickets are $10. The link's on Twitter. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. If you're interested in coming out, please come out. I think it's going to be a great time. It's a great community event also with the giveaway of school supplies and honoring some really good people in the community doing great things. All right, so solo show is over. Thank you guys so much for all your comments, support tonight. It was great. If you didn't see it all, be sure to go back and check it out on the playback. I'll cut up all the previews and we'll get those out on social media for all your motivation leading into scrimmages tomorrow. You're welcome, coaches. Good night, everybody. Appreciate it.